Doesn't matter. We'll just wing it. Not a lot of goals on Saturday, but enough to beat the biggest rival, the Portland Timbers, as Christian Roldan knocks it in early, and that goal stands up for the Sounders, moving up the ladder, beating their biggest Cascadia rival. Time to turn the page, though, as Stefan Fry says hi to all the fans after the match. There's a crew arriving at Mafre Stadium this afternoon as the Columbus Crew play host to your Sounders FC. A little bit windy, but we're okay. There's no precipitation, and we're feeling good for soccer tonight. Welcome with Steve Zakawani. My name is Matt Johnson, and Steve, again, not a lot of goals, played plenty of defense, but Christian Roldan, the one stood up, big win versus Portland.
Yeah, and in this past 2 weeks, we've seen the Sounders team getting back to basics. And by back to basics, what I mean by that is defending, stopping the ball going in at your end of the pitch. When you start playing the sport, the first thing you're taught is how to defend or how to stop the opponent. And I thought at the weekend, it was definitely a group effort. It wasn't just any one guy. You saw Osvaldo Alonso getting involved, Brad Evans, him come back into the team has definitely helped. Christian Roldan, of course, Chad Marshall. It was just a group effort overall, and Gustav Svensson may have done the best job on Fernando Adi that I've seen in a very, very long time. Stefan Fry also involved. So it's just a case of this team becoming recommitted to stopping teams getting at them. And this Portland attack is very potent. So a clean sheet against them shouldn't be taken for granted. And this play synchronized for me and capitalized what this team did. 3 blocks in the space of 10 seconds. Osvaldo Alonso, who's the captain, has an MLS Cup, has a bunch of Open Cups, throwing his body at the ball in a regular season game shows you how this team now has flipped the switch defensively, and that's how you start getting results in this league.
Well, Coach Brian Schmetzer, who is right next to us, said they played prettier soccer earlier, but the defensive help, the 2 clean sheets, that's what's leading these teams to victory.
And I think what you saw out there was a team effort. I think Brad gutted his way through a long, hot afternoon. Gustav and Chad were, again, very solid. Jovan was good when they brought a spree on late in the game. He didn't let him get past him.
We've struggled at times, maybe responding to how the games were shaping up, whether we were missing chances and maybe almost falling into the same traps again, or going down a goal and then kind of like surrendering, in, if you will. But now knowing that we have two games where we only needed 1 goal and we kept it really clean in the back, I think that's really good for us going forward. So, but I have to say again, it's a total team effort. All 11 guys played well defensively and they deserve a shutout.
Let's bring in the big stars of the show, Keith, Costigan, and Kasey Keller. And guys, back-to-back shutouts, what can that do for confidence for the squad?
Well, we all know no star shines brighter than you, Matt, but it's back-to-back victories, back-to-back clean sheets. We've been waiting for this kind of momentum, and then the international break comes calling. How disappointing is that?
Well, usually good defensive team comes with a organization and a consistency of lineup. Sounders had a consistency of lineup for 2 matches. They probably had the squad that they wanted to have on the field. That's not the case tonight.
Very different lineup, yes. Not just 5 changes, but personnel moving into different positions as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at Jordi Delem coming in at right back, Brad Evans not being able to go today simply just because of that fixture congestion, then Gustav Svensson stays in. Tony Alfaro comes in for Chad Marshall, who's a little banged up, and then O'Neal Fisher comes in at left that pushes Jovan Jones up into midfield, and then obviously up front with Clinton Jordan away on international duty. Shea Advocare gets his first start up front.
Well, the CHI Franciscan health report, keeping your Northwest healthy, and players like Wilburn brought in for moments like this, and equally disappointing he's not available.
Well, he will be hugely disappointed with that dislocated elbow missing, but his loss is an opportunity for Advocare to come in and once again try to prove to the coaching staff, to the ownership, that he is a player for the future.
Well, Steve, it's one of those moments that, of course, you want Clint Dempsey, you want Jordan Morris in the lineup, but these younger players, now it's a chance for them to prove to themselves that they belong at this level.
Absolutely, Keith. What a great opportunity. You know that the guys who are regular starters aren't here, but the likes of Shea and a few of those guys, it's a big chance tonight. But I look at that lineup, and you still have guys who were out there in Toronto on that memorable night. Osvaldo Alonso, Christian Roldan, Stephen Fry. I mean, you have guys here who have a lot of experience, so it's a weakened lineup, but you still have enough quality throughout the team, I feel, to come here tonight and feel confident that you can get a result.
Well, with the Sounders getting back-to-back shutout wins, Columbus not as lucky. Last week, a 5-0 thrashing to the hands of Toronto FC, and Toronto actually scored 2 goals late, a man down. So they took it on the chin, did the Columbus crew, and they're looking to get back on the winning track here at home. But really, a tough result for Columbus in Toronto. Let's take a look at the Columbus lineup, and it's about as stacked as Greg Berhalter can make it, Steve.
It's the team he probably would pick on any given day. And suffering a big defeat, what you want is to come home and have a game just a couple of days later, which they have. The guys I'd watch out for here, obviously we know what Higuain can do, but the emergence of number 9, Justin Miram, out there on the left-hand side. I always keep an eye on wingers, and he's a guy who's emerging now as a top winger in this league. 7 goals, 4 assists already this season, and also Ola Kamara, who came in to replace the previous Kai Kamara. But those two guys, 14 goals between them. You get that kind of production from 2 young guys at this stage of the season, and you come in with a weakened lineup, a different looking back line. It could be a long evening if they're on their game tonight.
Well, one of the regulars for the Sounders, he hasn't missed a minute all year long, and he's one of our favorites, Christian Roldan. We'll talk to Keith Costigan next.
Sounders Soccer is brought to you by Redapt, your Northwest IT solutions and global systems integrator. More info at redapt.com. CenturyLink. The CenturyLink Scarf Sound Off is back. Visit soundersfc.com/scarfo to vote for your favorite design. By McDonald's of Western Washington. Now on match days, get a free breakfast sandwich with any purchase when you download the app. McDonald's, the official breakfast of Sounders FC. And by Jeep. Reach the peak of efficiency with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee and its EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today.
Ryan? The Sounders FC pregame show is brought to you by Slalom Consulting. Experience the match from the sidelines at the Slalom Experience. Call 877-MLS-GOAL now for more information. And by CenturyLink. The CenturyLink Scarf Sound Off is back. Visit soundersfc.com/scarf vote to vote for your favorite design.
It's Ladero to take the first corner of the day. It's redirected in! Christian rolled on. Second goal in just a handful of games against the Timbers. Puts them up.
Let's take a look at our Advocare warm-up report. It is Christian Roldan. Last week versus Portland, just massive numbers with 86 touches. Look at that passing percentage of 87.7%. The tackles, the fouls won, and he was just all over the park, winning everything and leading that back line of defense versus Portland on Saturday. Just moments ago, our own Keith Costigan had a chance to talk to Christian Roldan.
Christian, coming off back-to-back victories, 2 clean sheets and a goal for yourself against the biggest rivals. Confidence high coming into today's matchup for you?
Yeah, a little bit. We have to build on these last 2 wins. Obviously away games are difficult on the road, but we have to take as many points as we can and play as a team.
Over the last couple of years, you've been a young player, maybe trying to prove to yourself and others that you belong at this level. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen the very feisty performances, particularly against Real Salt Lake and against Portland. Are you at the point where you realize you do belong and you can compete with anybody in this league personally?
Yeah, at some point, you want to establish yourself, as a player, having a reputation in the league. And for me, it's defending well, and it's getting under the skin of these really good players. And that's my goal for today and for the rest of the season. It's to do everything I can for the team and establish myself as a professional in my 3rd year.
Columbus Crew, never an easy game away from home, but particularly when you're missing some big name players. What are some of the keys to getting a result here tonight?
Yeah, I think we have to defend well as a team. At times we might have 11 behind the ball. That's just part of the game, part of playing on the road. But we also have to take our chances, when we get them. That's been a struggle for us this year, and with key guys, especially offensively missing, we have to bury those chances when we get them.
Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Steve, I mentioned before, this is a guy that hasn't missed a minute this year in 13 matches. Your thoughts on his importance on the squad?
He's becoming as important as anyone on this team, and I'm a guy who over the years I've learned you can't anoint young players too quickly as a second coming of anything. But Christian Roldan now, I'm a believer. This team has been looking for years for the eventual long-term replacement to Osvaldo Alonso. And guess what? The search is over. You found him. He can do everything. He can attack, he can defend, has a great engine, gets about the pitch. And what I've liked in the past couple of weeks is he doesn't back down. You get in his face, doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a DP or a rookie, he's going to give it right back to you. And Christian Roldan has all the tangible qualities and the intangible qualities to become a leader, not just only on this team, but in this league and for his national team. And alongside that man, Osvaldo Alonso, they're forming a formidable partnership that for the next few years at least can sustain this Sounders team to even greater success.
Your local Toyota dealers are proud to present the Sounders FC Rising Stars. Congratulations to the Sounders FC U15 Academy team who were in 3rd place last weekend in the prestigious Man City Cup. The club won 3 of its 4 games, including a 3-2 win over Man City and a 5-4 PK decision against Tottenham in the 3rd place match. Congrats again to Sean Henderson and the boys. The Sounders FC Rising Stars are making a name for themselves, and so are the newest Toyotas. The all-new mid-size Toyota Prius, the first ever RAV4 hybrid, and the best-selling Toyota Tacoma. It's a beautiful evening here, and that man, Jovan Jones, he'll move up the line, and we had a chance to talk with him. Steve Zakawani will touch base with Jovan Jones when we come back. Well, there he is. He's been an integral part of the squad this year, missing only one match thus far. The man from Trinidad, Jovan Jones, he'll move up a bit in today's formation. Steve Zakawani had a chance to talk with him recently.
You grew up in Trinidad. I know you love your country and everything. Were you good at anything else, or was it for you from when you were young, always, I'm going to play football?
Growing up, I play all sports, basketball,
Were you good? You were?
football, so it was like between 10 to 16 years I was playing more like football and cricket, so I knew I would have made it in one of those sports.
I've met players before from the Caribbean who playing for the national team is like the highest honor. So I know you guys now are going through World Cup qualifying, so kind of talk about your international career so far and what that means to you.
Well, I got an early call in my career, like around 18 going on 19, where I was on the bench for like 6 games straight because the coach did not like believe in me because I was small in size. But they know I have the talent, I can play, but it just trust, I think it was. And when I get my opportunity, I take it. I have like 62 caps right now. So it's an honor, and also an honor to play for my country.
Do you know how many goals you have for your country?
6.
6? You have all the stats, huh? Let's talk about another goal you scored, which isn't on the stat sheet, but this goal took place in December, MLS Cup. You're one of the guys who stepped up to take a penalty kick. Now, 2 things I want to know. Did you want to take one, or did they ask you to?
I told Smith I'll kick.
You say you want to take
Yeah.
one? And then how is the walk from the halfway line to the PK?
Well, the last Gold Cup, I threw one against Panama, so that was in my head a little bit. Then after I shake it off, I say, come on. Yeah, I missed over the bar. Then I shake it off, I say to myself, not today again. So it kind of helped me when I woke up.
Jovan Jones, 25-year-old international from Trinidad and Tobago.
But are you nervous when you're walking down?
No, I
there?
wasn't nervous.
You wasn't nervous?
No.
You walked down and you finished the
Before I kick, I was kind of nervous. Like had 2 minds where I'm going to go. So I just say, I'm just going to go hard and high.
How about that composure? Top corner.
This is about as good a penalty as you're going to hit. Jovan Jones absolutely showing tons of composure, steps up left-footed, and just rips it into the left-hand upper corner of Clint Irwin.
Winning the cup, it was a great feeling. Like you play in a game, you're winning like 4-0. Sometimes you don't really get that 5. Like if you down 1-0, you come back and win 2-1 or 3-2. You feel that energy, so it was like that.
Your hair, I have to ask, because the people want to know. You change it every 3-4 days. We've joked before about your hair and stuff. Is there, some have been good, great, some have been interesting. Is there a reason why you change so often? Do you get bored? Is it something everyone from back home does? What's this kind of the story behind your hairstyle?
I get bored, like if I see something on the internet, I try. I don't care if it look good or bad. I just try stuff.
Do you have a favorite one that you've done?
No.
Do you have a horrible one that you've done? You do?
Right now I'm looking for a new one.
Brian Schmetzer, and I knew I'd get that reaction. He likes you a lot, I can tell. Just from being around you guys, he's always, poking fun at you, trying to get you to smile, to talk more. What's your relationship like with Brian, and how much does his confidence in you allow you to actually do what you're doing?
Well, first to begin, I love Brian because, as a coach, he talk to players. Some coach, like when they come in mornings, they pass you straight or just, he try to come to talk to you, make you smile, see how your morning going, your family, everything like that. And also on the field, he gave me a lot of confidence. And I think that will help me to become the player I am today.
To Be a Sounder is presented by Adidas, and you can catch the entire series on SoundersFC.com. As we sit here, I got goosebumps watching that PK. I just up and down my spine, goosebumps. Jovan Jones, now he moves up a bit on the pitch. What's that going to do tonight for the Sounders?
I think it's a smart move from Brian Schmetzer because Jovan Jones, for me, this year has been top 2 or 3 best attacking players for the Sounders, period, playing even as a fullback. And earlier this season, in the second half against the Houston Dynamo, first game of the season. The Sounders' second half was a performance because of Jovan Jones, and it's because his starting position as a left back that day was so much higher up the pitch. It unlocked so many things on that left-hand side for the Sounders. Today, he's going to be allowed to start high as he wants. And what does Jovan give you going forward? Well, a lot of things. He's very, very good on the ball. I would say he's the best dribbler on the Sounders now in terms of going at guys, breaking them down 1v1. A thing I know a thing or two about, he's the best one on that team. Had options there left and right, but I love that he took the onus on himself to find a shot at goal. He'll find himself in this position, hope many times. Puts a great ball across. If that's on Nico Lodero's left foot, it's a goal for the Seattle Sounders. And Clint Dempsey's goal that night came from Jovan Jones. Look at his starting position. That's not where most left backs start, but that is where most left midfielders start, left wingers start, and that's what Jovan can do tonight. Nice piece of skill there. The question mark against him has been his final ball, his production. He puts this one right along the 6-yard box where you're supposed to put it. He's telling his strikers, you go and get in the end of that. It finds its way to Clint Dempsey, who finishes it. I just feel Jovan Jones, without having to think of defense first, I get to attack all night. With a little bit of defending, is going to unlock so much for the Seattle Sounders tonight.
That was our Quest Diagnostics Scouting Report. Good health starts with knowing. Well, it's a great evening here in Columbus, Ohio. We are kickoff just minutes away. We're excited to bring you Seattle Sounders, Columbus Crew SC.
I actually haven't played with the national team under Bruce yet, so it'll be interesting to see, how that is. I know he's a great coach, and he's, pretty much a legend with the Galaxy. So, I'm excited to be coach, under him. And, I think that the team's starting to pick up momentum, I think, especially with the last 2 qualifying games. We started to pick it up again, and, we're a team that belongs in the World Cup. We're a massive country, and we have very good players. So I think, with the players we have and, the coaching staff we have, everything that we have, we belong there. And, obviously it's up to us to, qualify and get back to where we belong.
That was our very own DeAndre Yedlin, who practiced with the squad the last 7 days. Here is the U.S. men's national schedule coming up June 3rd versus Venezuela. It is a friendly in Utah. Then the ones that count, Trinidad Tobago, Thursday, June 8th, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. The 11th, down at the massive Azteca Stadium in Mexico. And really, we need to look at history, Steve Zakawani. Our own Clint Dempsey, 56 goals, only needs one more to tie Landon Donovan at 57. And Steve had a chance to chat with Clint earlier this year.
When I was younger, I probably cared more about, how I would be spoke about and this and that. I'm fine with anybody saying what they want to say because I'm at peace with what I've been able to do and the life that I've been able to have. I feel very blessed and fortunate, and that's for the people to write about and say. I wouldn't want to put words in people's mouths, but we'll have to wait and see what is said. But at the end of the day, I'm at peace because I know what I've been able to do and how I feel about it.
Dempsey, there it is! The rebound is in from Clint Dempsey! Dempsey, 1-0, USA! And the man who's done it so very many times does it again, Clint Dempsey!
Steve, I don't want to say we take him for granted, but we get to see him every single week. But Clint Dempsey could make history here in the next couple matches. One more, like I said earlier, one more goal and he ties Landon Donovan for all-time lead goal scorers for the U.S.
It's an incredible accomplishment. When you think of who Landon Donovan is, how long that record stood, and just what he accomplished, Clint Dempsey, for me, for my money, has put together the best outfield player, not goalkeepers. Kasey's up there for that one, but outfield players for Americans, career-wise, he's had one of the best ones, and I think it's fitting that as he approaches his final years to break this record is something I know he wants to do. And over these next 3 games, I would, if I'm not a betting man, if I was, I'd say Clint Dempsey gets at least 2 goals and breaks LD's record.
Well, I am a betting man, so I will bet on Clint Dempsey breaking Landon Donovan's record. He's out. Jordan Morris is gone also. Shea Adekoya's got some massive shoes to fill this evening.
It's a big night for the kid, and my advice to him if I was in that dressing room with the guys would be yourself. Don't try to be Jordan Morris. Don't try to be Clint Dempsey. Don't try to be Will Bruin. Be the best Shea that you can be in this game, and that means working hard for the team off the ball, being the guy to press and put guys under pressure, and when the team has the ball, making those runs in behind, dragging the centre backs out of position, creating space for Nico Lodeiro. Do everything you can, and lastly, be excited, enjoy it. You've worked your whole life for this. Here comes your first stop as a Seattle Sounder. Enjoy the night. If you can get a goal, I'll buy you a beer when we get home.
Sounders have had a couple back-to-back shutouts, RSL in Portland. Columbus, they've been giving up goals. For this subject, let's go back upstairs. Keith Costigan and Kasey Keller.
Thanks, Matt. Well, it's interesting to remember that just 2 seasons ago on this very field, Columbus hosted MLS Cup. Since then, defensive issues have really stopped them progressing and becoming an elite team in this league. In the last 4 games, they've conceded multiple goals. And when you look to the lineup today, again, plenty of changes on that back line. Jonathan Mensah brought in as a DP, but it seems to be he can't find the right mix, Greg Berhalter, to build his team on moving forward.
Because it's just not the way you'd like it to be. So Greg has come in, made some changes. Obviously, Mensah's come in as a DP to try to clear that up. Arthur's going to come in and hold that defensive midfield, but this is kind of the problem. They spread themselves so far out that the 2 center backs like to spread in possession. The outside backs come on the attack, and if you lose possession in midfield, there's all kind of space to exploit. New England Revolution do a very good job of just real simple passes, little 1-2 passing, and then the space is available. And I'm sure Greg Berhalter, the manager of Columbus, has been addressing this for the last 3-4 weeks and trying to get the right combination.
Last Friday was at its most glaring.
It was, but for probably the first 20-30 minutes, they were the better team, and then they can see the goal, and then it all kind of falls apart. We've talked about it times, but this is just a case where one player so far wide, another player so far wide in the back line, and you could drive a freight train through the middle of that defense.
Well, we've already looked at it. We'll have another look. A very changed starting 11. Do we have what it takes to cause them problems tonight?
Well, I think that's the question. With so many changes, you obviously have a team in Columbus that wants to bounce back from that terrible result. Sounders have had that consistency of lineup last 2 games, kept 2 clean sheets. Now they have to throw that out the window, change everything out. these are the guys who are asked to come in and do a role quickly. You and I were talking about the Kansas City game the other day, where big changes. First half looked great, created a lot of good scoring chances, couldn't get that goal, and then when they conceded that first goal, it all went downhill from there, and it was very similar to what you saw from Columbus against Toronto, so it'll be very interesting how the two teams work it out.
Probably the best game to compare it to, Sporting KC, given that the lineup that day was very similar to the one we're seeing here tonight. We're almost all set for action at Mapfre Stadium. We're going to take a short break, but we will be back with some midweek Seattle Sounders action right after this. Sounders Soccer is brought to you by Redapt, your Northwest IT solutions and global systems integrator. More info at redapt.com. By McDonald's of Western Washington. Now on match days, get a free breakfast sandwich with any purchase when you download the app. McDonald's, the official breakfast of Sounders FC. By Home Street Bank. There's no place like Home Street. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And by Jeep. Reach the peak of efficiency with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee and its EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today.
Through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket Frankfurt, the lovers needed it.
Wire them up. Okay, talk to them. Tell them we have to wire them up.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Yes.
home of
Yes.
the
Wonderful view of downtown Columbus, just a couple of miles away from Mapfre Stadium. That is the venue tonight for some midweek MLS action. It is Columbus Crew looking to bounce back from a 5-0 defeat at the weekend against the Seattle Sounders, coming in after back-to-back clean sheet victories. I'm joined, as always, by Kasey Keller. Kasey, there is momentum, but a very different lineup. How do you continue that momentum tonight?
Yeah, I think that's the difficult side, because usually momentum comes with the consistency of lineup. I think you see that throughout sports all over the world. Brian Schmetzer able to keep a consistent lineup, and big surprise, 2 1-0 victories. But tonight, because of international call-ups, fixture congestion, whatever you want to call it, he has to make massive changes. He's got to bring 5 guys to completely rework the back four, and it's a big task for guys to step in who haven't consistently been playing and have definitely not been consistently playing together.
A lot of players unavailable, but his mood this morning still very good in a team meeting. On the other side, Greg Berhalter, a couple of seasons ago, a lot of talk about the progress he made very early on here. They've stagnated a little bit. What are they going to be looking to do tonight?
Well, they're going to look to bounce back. I mean, you concede 5 goals on the road to Toronto, the worst ever defeat for a franchise in franchise history. You get an opportunity in a midweek game quickly afterwards to put that right against the Seattle Sounders team that has had to make a bunch of changes in their lineup. So I think Greg will be looking for a good win, and obviously Sounders looking to continue that momentum from the back-to-back 1-0 wins.
Match referee, hopefully the last time we say his name today, David Ganther, 48th match. And we'll move on from that. Seattle Sounders, 2 big games coming up this week. They've got themselves right back in the mix in terms of those playoff positions in the Western Conference. Brian Schmetzer wasn't hearing any negative talk about the players not available. Very positive ahead of this one against a very strong starting 11 for Columbus Crew. Well, the opening kickoff of the first half is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. It is Columbus Crew playing out of the back as they so often do under Greg Berhalter. Certainly a team with an identity. They have struggled at times.
Yeah, it's that balance of identity. Yeah, you love to play out of the back, but there's times when if you're under pressure, you have to make sure you keep your shape right. We talked about that a lot with the Sounders at times throughout this season. A lot of possession, but not turning that possession into wins and into goals. And then because of that, space is opening up and getting exploited defensively. It's been very similar for the Columbus Crew at times this season.
Alonso playing the ball just to that right-hand side for Nicola Dera. Expected to play in the number 10 role, but as always, he has pretty much creative license to roam in that attacking half of the field. O'Neill Fisher will start at left back, allowing Jovan Jones to play in a role maybe not similar in his Seattle Sounders days, but he has played further forward for his national team. Madera, that ball just goes out off Uruguayan international, and it'll be a throw-in for Columbus. We saw a first half a couple of weeks ago on the road against Sporting KC where you couldn't have really scripted it any better in terms of a game plan, and you got the sense it was going to be more of the same tonight.
Well, there's an expectation. We were talking about Shea Adekoya. Stevie said, do that work off the ball, and maybe just a little bit over exuberant. Tackle a little bit late on Josh Williams. Gets a little talking to by the referee early on.
Those early match nerves. His very first MLS style. 13 minutes in that Sporting KC match, and that one-headed chance late on. Big moments for him today, former UCLA Bruin. Harry Shipp also picked up a hip flexor strain, so unexpected to factor. Another loss today, including Will Bruin as well, and all the youngsters involved again, and not the impact he wanted to make earlier.
Well, no, you just get talking to. You have to chuckle a little bit as a young player wanting to prove himself so much, just a little over exuberant, and just so quickly after the talking to, just a late high tackle just catches Archer in the shin, and when it's so quickly after the referee just warns you, you knew the yellow card was coming.
You've heard of the saying, get your first touch, but a couple of tackles is what he's got early on.
Well, I have no problem with the tackle, but you actually have to win the ball in those tackles.
Federico Higuain, very adept on set-piece situations. Looked like he was going to take it. Instead, he leaves a Ferrantala left-footed delivery towards that far post and Mensah. Alvaro Fernandez He arguably played his best game against Sporting KC, starting on that right-hand side. Higuain. A much publicised run in last season with Kai Kamara, which saw Kai Kamara traded. Higuain, one of 4 players in the Columbus Crew lineup with over 100 appearances for the side. Jones finds Ladero. Fernandez very central. Advocare goes down. A lot of contact with Josh Williams. And this time, the referee's whistle goes in favour of the young striker.
Yeah, and I think that's really what you want to see from Advocare. You want to see him get the ball, run at defenders, try to win free kicks, really kind of gain the confidence. So he'll gain a little bit of a confidence being able to kind of get some touches, get the ball under control.
Brian Smetzer watching on, very animated in a team meeting this morning, upbeat after the 2 victories. A chance for him to get a better eye on some of the fringe players in his squad. That switch, not the desired target as it goes over the head of Alvaro Fernandez.
Yeah, I think Flacco would kind of run inside looking for the ball to attack, and it got played a little bit behind him, just a little miscommunication.
Roldan finds Nico Ladero. Fisher. Want to come back on his right foot. Instead he goes for Alonso. Roldan offering an option central. Simple play from Christian Roldan back to Alfaro. Talk about Tony Alfaro being a young player. He does turn 24 in a couple of weeks, so hitting that stage where he'll want to be playing on a more consistent level. It's another opportunity tonight. 6th start on the campaign. Svensson, Roldan, Alonso, Fisher, and again Ladero just looking to link, but marshalled well by Williams, not allowing any space at all for Nico Ladero, and the chance to break here. Merrim got runners on either flank. Merrim still has it, tries to go for goal himself. It was a long way out, and Stefan Frey having a word with his defenders.
I think defensively it wasn't the end of the world, but it is. Higuain will always kind of drop on the little hole and just get things started. Finds Merrim, but there has to be a little pressure higher up the field. You just can't let Merrim run 30, 40 yards with the ball and then get a shot at the end of it. You want to make that contact with him a little higher up the pitch. And Columbus already just trying to win the ball quickly in the Sounders half.
Kamara was the one dropping deep that time, got the ball out for Higuain, and Merrim, listed as a left winger, but certainly can't come inside the way the Columbus Crew fullbacks get forward. And that clearance out of play.
But this is what you'd expect from a team that just lost 5-0 on the road, that they would come back home and you'd want to put pressure on your opposition, higher up the field, get the crowd involved, get the confidence going, and Columbus have done exactly that. They've not really allowed the Sounders an opportunity. When they could press higher up, they have, and they've created 2 little half chances from it.
2 of the top 3 teams today in terms of passes completed in the league. Columbus Crew just behind Seattle, might overtake Seattle in terms of the way this game has started. Williams, ball out wide for Jimenez, curl delivery, and it was an inviting ball in, and straight through for Stefan Frey in the end, and a quick clearance looking for Advocare. He does have pace, and the goalkeeper comes out, and Zach Steffen holds on to it.
Yeah, linesman was a little behind. I think Advocare was offside. We had a perfect view, but it wasn't called.
Shei Advocare, as he's told us his name is pronounced.
Yes, he's been one of those guys that his name has been mispronounced for years.
No longer.
Nope.
Not here.
You can't, the home broadcast can't mispronounce a home player's name.
Hold on. Finds Fisher. Fisher, strong challenge from him, just trying to get there ahead of Jimenez.
But again, Columbus just keep that big commitment to press the ball. As soon as they lose possession.
So Will Trapp there dropping in between the 2 centre-backs. Attempted over 1,000 passes this season already. And when you see that possession, this is what Toronto did well. Counter-attacked at pace. Alvaro Fernandez finds Ladero. Jovan Jones a little bit more advanced now, has the chance to go at Jimenez. Tries to play that ball back to the edge of the box for Ladero, but a couple of Columbus Crew players in there, most notably Arthur.
Fernandez and Yucaratala makes the challenge. Sounders will have a throw in. Sounders just one win in 7 road games this season. An issue dating back to last season as well, just 4 over the campaign. As we look at Roman Torres, Harry Shipp, Alonso. It looked like he might pull the trigger, elected to hold on to it, and almost a costly error.
Yeah, Ozzy, the second time early on, almost got caught in possession, starting the Columbus counterattack. Does a good job, as he does so well. It's just the tenacity of Ozzy, able to win the ball back quickly.
Alfaro to Gustav Svensson, many people's man of the match at the weekend. Very good defensive performance from the Sounders against Portland Timbers. Jones, good cross from him, and Nico Lodeiro trying to time that run to perfection. Just a little bit off, a well won back by Jordi Delem. Inside for Lodeiro. Rolled on, that was a strong challenge. Lodeiro with the effort, long way out. Wasn't too far away.
Well, in the pregame, Stevie Zakawani talking about the ability one-on-one of Jovan Jones there. He just skates by Hector Jimenez, puts a good ball into the area, and then Nico just trying to make something out of nothing.
A ball played in behind for Ethan Finlay. Hasn't always been starting this season, Ethan Finlay. They brought across Kakuta Mane. He's back in the lineup tonight, Ethan Finlay. Federico Higuain from distance, edge of the box. A pinpoint finish, and the Crew were off the mark early on, 1-0.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations that you saw it early on, that you just cannot dally in possession in your own half. Crew very quickly to try to win the ball back. Tackles came flying in. It's a poor pass in from Alfaro. Then it's not a hard enough challenge from Christian Roldan. Fortunate enough for Federico Higuain, it falls straight to him. But that challenge has to be harder. Jimenez won the battle against Roldan, and Higuain, you give him these kind of chances in these kind of areas. Yeah, it's unfortunate with the tackle, but it's a great first touch. It's too much space, and he just rips it into the far corner, giving Stephen Fry no chance.
44th goal of his Columbus Crew career. And one of the reasons why the tactics worked so well in the first half at Sporting KC was because they struggled to create that first goal-scoring chance. Very different now with the Crew off the mark in this one.
Well, and sometimes what it means when you have a team that you know is ready for a game, that they want to tackle, they want to fight for everything.
Adekoya with a little bit of space, tries to cross towards the far post. Jovan Jones the furthest forward, but unfortunately for Adekoya, right into the hands of Zach Steffen.
But you have to match that intensity. You can't lose tackles. And already the Crew on 2 or 3 occasions has got the better of the Sounders winning those tackles.
Ball played in behind for Finlay, and the feet of Tony Alfaro plays it out this time to Roldan. It was an errant pass that led to that challenge from Hector Jimenez. We also have Steve Zakawani with us on the broadcast. Steve, what are you seeing?
Keith, it's a fascinating matchup here on the Sounders' left-hand side, Columbus Crew's right-hand side. We know how Columbus plays. They're going to send their fullbacks up every single time. And as a winger, it's kind of a catch-22. Do you follow Jimenez every single time if you're Jovan Jones? Or do you at some point call his bluff and say, look, if you're going to post up that high, I'm going to stay here. And when we win the ball in transition, I'm going to get in behind you. Jovan Jones did that a couple of times, and that's when we saw the Sounders' chances coming from this left-hand side. So we'll keep an eye on that as that goes on, because either way, you're going to get 2v1s, whether it's for the Sounders or against the Sounders, depending on what Jovan decides to do.
Yeah, very interesting point, Steve, and it's one of the things that Toronto had a lot of success with on Friday night.
Yeah, and I think Jovan Jones also has enough pace against Jimenez that he can do both. He can actually track back with him and anticipate when the ball's going to turn over and get on the run and still be able to outrun the Crew defense.
Adekoya looking to put a little bit of pressure on Williams, and there you can see flashes of Shea Adekoya's pace and ability to press. Unable to get on the ball just yet. Rolled on.
But then a poor pass from Mensah just gifts it straight back to the Sounders. Can they take advantage?
Adekoya's got a little bit of space. Can he go for goal? And it was on his right foot, tried to take it with the outside of his right. Might have been better saved to come across to his left, but the first chance of the youngster's career in this match.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I thought when the ball fell to him, he had the kind of space. I thought it was going to be a little bit touch in, and then he was just going to come back on his right foot and try to hook it to the far. And in the end, the angle just was always favoring the Columbus Crew. Josh Williams does a good job of forcing him to the short side. Zach Steffen stands up well, and it would have been something special from Advocare to beat the Columbus defender from that angle.
With that high line they play, Columbus Crew, there's plenty of space in behind if you can get the kind of service in.
Well, and it comes usually from a poor pass. And again, it's trying to force a ball into Miram where it's turned over, and the Sounders have a half chance because of it.
Excellent pressure from the Sounders. Brian Spencer did say at times they would high press, they wouldn't allow them to play out of the back every time. We saw it there. Worked to perfection. Rolled on. Alfaro. Lovely ball in behind with the outside of his left foot, and Fisher just couldn't corral that one in.
The offside flag was up anyway, but yeah, it is. It's showing, and I think that's the other side of it too. When you have a makeshift back four, I talked about it in the Kansas City game a couple weeks ago. I think then you got to be a little bit careful when you get your outside backs up into the attack. I think at times, particularly, let Jovan Jones be wide. Fernandez on that occasion almost running through. Kind of make sure you keep that defensive shape first.
When Brian Spencer talked before the Sporting Kansas City game, he said if they get a lead, they're very good defensively. It'll be very difficult. Not necessarily the case with Columbus Crew. They've conceded goals at an alarming rate, particularly recently.
They have, and some of it is because at times they're their own worst enemy. When there's times to play out of back, and then there's times when you just have to knock it up the park, and they haven't quite found that balance the way they would like, and teams have taken advantage of it.
Along with a bit of an errant pass, and goes all the way through for Rattala. The Finn who marks spell of his career in German football with Hoffenheim and then Paderborn. Josh Williams, only his 6th appearance of the season, still trying to get that formula right at the back. Greg Berhalter brought in a number of centre-backs in the off-season. Higuain, Will Trapp. Saw Higuain play a little bit deeper against Toronto,
but if you just kind of look at the shape right now, they really drop into a back three. Williams is a center back, and he's dropping out so far wide, and Will Trapp drops down into the middle. Well, let's say this is an errant pass right now. Your two center backs are your two widest players defensively in the pitch, which then leaves huge gaps. So it puts a lot of pressure on your passing accuracy. When something gets deflected or just a poor pass, it puts you in a precarious defensive shape.
Mensah tries to thread that ball through and rolled on very close to intercepting it. Svensson does, and Ozzy Alonso has it. Jones. Advocare coming out to this left-hand side. Alvaro Fernandez is pointing in that central direction, wanted the ball played in over the top, but Sounders restart the attack through Svensson. Alfaro. Fisher. Jones. Ian for Advocare does well to shield it off the defender, and Mensah read it very well and came across.
Yeah, read it well, and then just a little bit too strong on the pass, throwing straight back to the Sounders, who are having probably their best spell of the match with possession.
The game here 2 seasons ago ended 3-2 in favour of the Crew. Last season, Sounders winning 1-0 on a late Jordan Morris goal. Jordan Morris, of course, one of several players unavailable tonight. Not the case for Columbus Crew, almost full strength for them. Ethan Finley is fouled with the challenge from Ozzy Alonso. I'd like to remind you that Redapt is a proud partner of Sounders FC. Trapp allows that ball to run through for Williams. That was the 21st goal of the season for Columbus Crew. Those goals shared between 5 players. A couple of players who've been really in form in front of goal. Merrim, Kamara and Higuain in particular.
Yeah, no surprise that one of those 3 opened the scoring in tonight's match. But as you mentioned, scoring hasn't necessarily been the biggest problem for the Columbus Crew. It's been just that balance of having a good attack, but then the ability to kind of keep things tight at the back. And Sounders will take some merit.
Break in behind Kamara, and finally the flag goes up. The assistant referee has to wait until, I guess, the player becomes active. We saw that in the FA Cup
He's running with the ball. How can he not be active? But yes, it was close. But I thought it was offside. I was a little surprised that the flag didn't come up, but in the end it did. That's all that matters.
Gustav Svensson looking for the switch towards Fisher. Higuain back after the on-loan Sao Paulo man, the Brazilian.
There's that loose pass that the Sounders almost take advantage of, but Mensah steps up well. And then a poor pass from Merrim and just gives possession straight back to the Sounders. But you've seen it 2 or 3 times now. Sounders getting caught in possession, poor pass out of the back, leading to Columbus Crew's opening goal, and then 2 or 3 missed passes from Columbus as they're trying to build, as players are pushing forward, getting wide, and Sounders almost able to take advantage and get shots on goal from those opportunities.
Alfaro, naturally left-footed, left-sided centre-back, plays it for Fisher. Almost ran that one out of play, kept it in. Goes forward, tries to swing his left foot out at Jimenez. Well positioned, but the Sounders will have a corner kick. Fisher probably a little bit more comfortable on that right-hand side.
Well, he is, but they're really asking Fisher to step up high. Ozzy was shouting at Fish early on just to really make that run high up the field. So it's almost like both teams with the same kind of mindset in the way they want their outside backs to get in the attack.
Ladero and Alonso both over this corner kick. Ladero goes short to Ozzy Alonso. Back out for Jones, trying to play that ball back into Ladero. Obviously one off the training ground and not the end product they wanted. Can be a frustrating one for a centre-back if you've made that run forward.
You just ran 80 yards to come up, and you have a free opportunity to put a ball in a dangerous area.
Jovan Jones tries to thread that ball through. Alvaro Fernandez again playing very narrow on that right-hand side, and now the counter-attack is on. Merrim, Kamara just wide of him. Merrim continues to go. It's a superb solo goal from one of the in-form wingers in MLS this season. Justin Merrim makes it 2-0.
Yeah, again, it's another very good strike from Justin Merrim, but it's just too easy for the Crew to be able to pick up the ball after the Sounders turnover. It's when you got to kind of make that confrontation a little higher, and it is. It's in the own half, but the space again. Look at where Jordy Delem is. He's on the wrong side because he's in the attack. He has to come in. Everybody drops. Nobody gets tight enough early enough. The space. Look, it's a fantastic finish. Take nothing away from the finish, but when we're talking about keeping that good, solid defensive shape, get that line of confrontation a little higher up the field. You don't have to retreat. You don't have to retreat because you got numbers in front of you as well. And the Crew have punished the Sounders on a couple turnovers in midfield, whereas the Sounders, when they've gotten those couple turnovers in midfield, haven't been able to generate the same opportunities.
Kasey, difficult for an inexperienced team to come on the road, even more so when you concede 2 early goals. How do the Sounders regroup? What does Brian Smetzer have to do to allow his team to regroup here before halftime?
Well, the best thing you have is you still have a long time to get back into this match. And
we've seen it before as well.
We have seen it before. But the last thing you can do is just think, we got to get goals now. We got to keep pushing guys forward. We got to get our defensive shape even worse, because the last thing you want to do is concede 3 and 4. And remember, this is a Columbus Crew team that I'm sure the talk after the Toronto game from Berhalter was, we need a response. But there's that loose overpassing, and that's the stuff that has got to drive a coach crazy, because you're winning 2-0 and you just gift a chance for an opportunity to get a team right back into the game. There's a point when you play it out of the back, and there's a point when you smash it up the field.
Can the Sounders take advantage of the errant pass? Corner kick, this time Madero all by himself. He will go for service. Central into the area, and it's redirected back. Came off a Columbus Crew defender in the end, and easy for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think it came off Josh Williams, just kind of came through a crowd. He turned, deflects off, and very fortunate when you see that ball. Now this is where I'd love to see a more experienced goalkeeper. You're 2-0 up, you just conceded a funky chance. Guys, let's step up, let's get it in the other half, let's force them, and then Sounders put Columbus under pressure. They do a good job of breaking the pressure, but I'm not sure if I want to take those risks at 2-0 and just allow a team back into the match. But again, we just keep talking about it. Can the Sounders take advantage? The Crew will give them opportunities. They will have opportunities, overpassing, winning chances, and get out on the break. But they have to take the chances when they get them to get back in this match.
Well played in for Jovan Jones. Arthur doing a good job, brought in, had a little bit more defensive presence in midfield. Higuain looking for the ball out wide for Merrim, and Delem just about gets there in time.
Yeah, that's where I want to see a stronger tackle from a young player. Go win that ball with conviction. Merrim trying to poke it away from him. Fortunately enough, the ball falls to Gustav Svensson, and they're able to clear through possession.
Well, Shea Adekoya, one of the young players playing tonight, his very first MLS start. Steve, what are you seeing from him?
You know, Keith, he started with a lot of nervous energy, and as the game has gone on, he settled in a tiny bit. He had a chance where if he uses his left foot, probably get something off on goal. What I want to see from Shea is to stay a lot higher. At times he's getting caught ball watching, dropping too deep. Nico's instructions to get high, stay high. If he stays high, he can take advantage of this Columbus back line, which has committed 3 or 4 costly turnovers so far.
Thank you very much, Steve. Ladero with the corner kick, and looked like 2 Crew players colliding into each other. The referee stopping it quite rightly in case of a head injury here.
And again, that all came about because of a young defender, Josh Williams, just not knowing what he's going to do with the ball when it comes to him. And in that thought process, I have to keep possession. Well, in that case, you smash it up into the 10th row, concede a throw, and get back. But here's the look is just kind of a 3-way collision. I'm not sure if it's Merrim then lands on him is where the real collision comes, and as you can see, just kind of hits him, and his head kind of bounces off the turf.
Ola Kamara, the striker, 7 goals on the season, and certainly will be given as much time as he can. But some points Steve made on Shea Adekoya in terms of his positional play and getting in an area where he can exploit his back foot. What have you seen so far?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think early on you saw with the couple fouls and the yellow card that came in the first couple minutes of the match, he's excited, he's hyped up, he wants to get in the game and he wants to get a part of it. But sometimes it's too about slowing those emotions down and understanding I can't be everywhere at one time. I need to figure out what's the right spot, and the right spot for me is going to be holding that line, forcing the 2 center backs to worry about you centrally as they spread. And that's a case of just finding that little bit of space and not overwork yourself wide, because you need to have that central presence.
Well, you can watch the next Sounders FC match in style with the full 90 match day experience from Amica Insurance. Enter at soundersfc.com/full90. Drop ball goes to Jovan Jones, and Sounders did have possession, so Ozzy Alonso will have it. Jordi Delem. Delem trying to come inside. Rolled on the deeper of the 2 with Alonso. Switch for Fisher. Not much of an attacking factor just yet from left back, and not the greatest balls forward from Daniel Fisher. That one goes out of play for a throw-in. Jimenez, former LA Galaxy player, was a midfielder in his time at Cal in college. Converted into a more attack-minded fullback here. Another player only making his 6th appearance of the season for the Crew. Merrim. Federico Higuain, the man who certainly comes from good footballing stock.
Yeah, his brother's going to make it as well.
Yeah, he's done okay this season, hasn't he? He has a pretty big game this weekend as well.
And again, there's more overpassing that are going to give you those opportunities. Josh Williams, you're winning 2-0. If it's not on, smash it up the field. Sounders take an opportunity now with Ladero in possession with Alonso.
Fisher has it. Tries for the switch. It's going to go all the way through, and again, that final ball really lacking for Seattle Sounders so far.
And it is, and it's frustrating because the Crew have given them 2 or 3 opportunities in possession or gifting possession of the Sounders high up the field, where they maybe had an opportunity to get a quick break in or get a goal-scoring opportunity, and they haven't quite been able to fashion it. Final pass just hasn't been where it's needed to be.
Ball played forward for Kamara. Finley inside. Jimenez again giving good width. Jimenez pulls back to the edge of the box. It was a well-timed run. Federico Higuain caught it and disappointed with himself. Felt like he could have done better.
Yeah, I think you really realize, but it's just too much space for Jimenez out wide. Look at all this space, not even a white shirt in the picture. Then Higuain goes in at 15 yards out, 16 yards out, first-time ball. A player of his ability, you expect at least a shot on target, but spacing a little bit off as Ozzy just not quite goal side the way he would like to be as Higuain makes that late run in the box.
Ladero. Jovan Jones gone almost all the way to the opposite side of the field as Fisher stares forward. Very open at the back here from Sounders if they lose possession. Alonso goes down under pressure from Kamara. Referee over it and has allowed play to continue. Arthur back for Kamara. At the far post is Merrin. Kamara has another chance. And that one a couple of yards wide. Well, the Sounders players absolutely furious. The free kick wasn't given for what looked like a foul on Ozzy Alonso.
Yeah, here's a good idea. Ozzy tries to come inside, and it looks like he's just, Ozzy just kind of stumbles. I'm not sure he's actually hit by Kamara. And then, but Columbus, again, just scuffed shot on that occasion, falls back to Kamara, who just can't direct the left-footed effort on target, but a big sigh of relief as the Sounders almost concede the third.
Ball back for Williams, again pressured by 2 Sounders players, and this time they get out of it. Arthur back for Trapp. Brian Smetzer mentioning how important Trapp was in terms of just the glue for this Columbus Crew team.
Again, Higuain, the pass was just too slow from Trapp, but he was wide open, or from Ritzala, but it was Higuain such a linchpin to this Columbus attack, and at times just far too wide open. A little bit surprised that there's not more attention as he moves around the field and just eliminating as many touches as possible from a player that creates so much for this Columbus Crew team.
Alfaro this time goes for the longer ball, but nobody central. Advocare all the way out on this left-hand side, and right now the Sounders really lacking ideas in that final third. Another through ball looking for Kamara. Finley right there with him.
But again, look at the space that Federico Higuain has to be able to just get the ball, turn, and play that through ball. Something that I'm sure will be addressed at halftime, and hopefully the Sounders are still in this game to be able to make those changes.
Crew winners of 4 of the 7 games at home this season. 2 losses coming to NYCFC and Toronto. Actually only faced Toronto FC 3 times on the campaign. Winning once in April and losing 2-1 in the return matchup here, and then 5-0 in Toronto last week. Rolled on. Delem inside for Ladero. Fernandez, seen very little of Alvaro Fernandez so far. And Mensah knocks it out off Fernandez, and Columbus Crew will keep possession. Merrim. Good pressure that time from Delem. O'Neill Fisher's got a little bit of space in front of him. Jones making the run further forward. Cuts it back, it's on his weaker right foot. Not a bad delivery towards that far post. And it was Shea Advocare who was in that position. The defender just intercepted the pass. Merrim goes back for Mensah. You get the sense from the way that the Crew played, and you've mentioned it a few times, there is chances there, but the Sounders going to get themselves in position to take advantage of those chances.
It has to be a little bit better delivery at times, but it's also been a ton of opportunities
Finley with a lovely delivery, and Kamara making that near post run. Now to the back for Higuain. Higuain trying to go through Svensson, and Alonso has to get back in and make the challenge. Continually finding pockets of space is Federico Higuain, and it's been one of those nights so far for the Sounders. The referee almost tackling Christian Roldan. Roldan finding a way through and continues to go forward. Still he has it. Fernandez out wide of him. Back for Roldan. Fisher. And Mensah will come out. Promising run initially from Roldan, but not enough support to turn it into something.
But then again, it's just too simple once possession is turned over to find space and get running at the Sounders defense. So somewhere the shape has to change just a little bit, because it's just too easy. And I don't know if it's pushing numbers forward, trying to get back into the game, or if it's just a little lack of discipline and allowing Higuain the time and space to be that player, to be that outlet, to get the offensive start. And again, Higuain, nobody anywhere near him to be able to just turn, keep possession, and find space.
Jimenez again playing the ball in behind. Finley trying to pull it back. It's Higuain again attacking the space, and his body language suggests he's frustrated with that ball to him.
Yeah, there's a thing about dropping back in a defensive area, but then once you drop back again in that area, you have to mark people. You can't just mark space. And I think at times it's a drop back and saying, okay, we've got numbers, but the movement of Higuain, the 1-2s off of Finley, who then drifts out wide, and the Sounders just haven't been close enough at times to cause them enough problems.
Merrim. Again, the fullback very advanced.
But that's the benefit of the way that Greg Berhalter wants to play. When you spread teams out like that, you get your outside backs forward. In possession, you can create fantastic opportunities and really overwhelm defenses at times. The problem then comes with a loose pass or something that just...
A lovely ball in behind. Fisher caught out. Finley with the pullback. The Sounders being torn apart defensively on the left-hand side.
Well, in that time, but that's excellent defending by Jordi Delem, then following Merrim in well and getting into that space, and good job again from Alvaro Fernandez tracking back and winning possession off of Higuain.
Advocare drops back into Link. Perhaps might have been better served continuing his run in behind.
Yeah, play off that shoulder of that last defender. Use your space to get in behind.
Alonso plays it wide for Shea Advocare. Ladero. Difficult ball to play, very narrow angle. Jovan Jones. But again, more chances for Columbus Crew.
Yeah, it just starts out wide. You see everybody's a little bit late coming, and Fisher just doesn't anticipate the run of Finley, gets in behind. But Jordi Delem doing a great job tracking Merrim all the way, coming off that wide channel and clearing the danger.
Again, more space for Jimenez. Very good ball in. Kamara had made the run, and the offside flag goes up, but Finley going inside, Jimenez pushing forward, has caused so many problems early on here for Seattle.
Yeah, no question about it. And there it is. He is a half body offside, and that's exactly, but again, you'll hear me talk about it game after game. I have no problem with the striker playing that line, trying to get in. If he's offside a couple times, the reward when he gets the timing right is a one-on-one with the goalkeeper and a fantastic opportunity to score.
Nico Ladero wanted to take that quickly. Advocare once again was almost dropping back in to get possession. So far, nothing of real note from the Sounders in terms of creativity. Svensson. Fernandez, little flick on Fernandez to find Delem. Back for Fernandez. And possession given away, a one-back, should I say, by Columbus Crew. We now look to break through Tramp. Finley. Merrim, who leads the league in dribbles, 25 more than the next player. He's been given license by Greg Berhalter to go at defenders every time he gets the ball. We've already seen him do it once tonight to devastating effect. And we've talked about the issues going forward for Seattle. For more on that, we bring back in Steve. Steve, what do they have to do, Seattle, to get behind this Columbus Crew defensive line.
Well, Keith, yourself and Kasey have both alluded to it. There just isn't a threat in behind. The last couple of attacks the Sounders have had, one with Alvaro Fernandez leading forward, the other one with Christian Roldan. Shea Advocare, what you want to see there is make a run in behind, one way or the other. A diagonal run, a curved run, something. What we're seeing is him actually coming back towards the ball. And what that does, it keeps the entire game in front of this Crew back line. There's no threat in behind. And then that in turn, when the Crew wins it, they've been very good at picking Seattle apart. You have to see some kind of threat in behind. If it's not coming from Advocare, then Jovan Jones, Alvaro Fernandez, someone needs to make them think we might get in behind you and not just play in front of you.
And I think something that the Sounders have done well in the last few matches was the inside-out run from Jordan Morris, keeping possession higher up the field, maybe bypassing midfield at times, then opening up space for plays after the threat of that run in behind comes.
Federico Higuain with another set piece here for Columbus Crew towards the far post. Mensah, Ghanaian international, big attacking threat, doesn't find him. I'm sure Jordan Morris is watching this game with the US men's national team and thinking, I wouldn't mind going up against that Crew back line. Got the winner last season, remember. Jimenez again with a lot of space. Again he goes to cross, and this time Fisher does get out and does deny him.
But it originally starts with way too much space for Finley, who's able to get possession, turn, and then run. So it is. It's the balance just seems to be off. And look, that's to be expected. The amount of changes that were made. You had a back four, a back six, a team that kind of kept that consistency. Brad Evans back in with that leadership. And then because of fixture congestion, because of international call-ups, Ramon Torres coming back from injury as well. So it is. It's a case where defensive shape just hasn't been the way, and that's to be expected.
Higuain towards the near post. It was Medham attacking it. And the referee looks like he's going to give a goal kick. Indeed he is. Well, you can discover the adventures Seattle has to offer with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee, featuring an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today. Jovan Jones looking to make one of those runs in behind the Columbus Crew back line. Instead, Zach Steffen this time just clears the danger.
Yeah, Williams read it all the way and just ushered it back to his goalkeeper, cleared the danger well.
Alfaro, one of those young players auditioning for a more permanent place in the starting 11, Alfaro. 6 appearances last season, 1 start. This is already his 6th start on the campaign. Advocare. Finley on the turn, rolled on in good defensive position. A nice little flick from Federico Higuain, who you get the sense is really enjoying himself in this first 45 minutes. Ladero in behind. Advocare. The flag eventually comes up.
I think it came up for handball. I think the ball just couldn't quite get his body underneath of it and just kind of traps it off his right arm.
Better in terms of the movement, though?
Oh, much better. I mean, that's the position you want to see him making those runs over and over and over again and just force a defense. This is the spot you want to have. And there's the, see how the arm comes out. Kind of miscontrolled it anyway. It was always going back to Steffen, but those are the spots and those are the runs you want to see him make. Inside out, outside in, but really force that back line to defend. And as they have to drop the line back, it'll open up more space for the likes of Nicholas Ladero in midfield to try to control play and find that goal to get back in this match.
Mensah for Williams. In for Arthur, goes back for Jonathan Mensah. Most recently at Anzi in the Russian Premier League. Again, Zach Steffen. And again, just trying to play it out and giving away. Columbus Crew possession right back with Arthur. Arthur with the fullback going forward on the left-hand side. Medham further forward. Inside for Arthur. Higuain. Josh Williams in the second spell at Columbus Crew. Jimenez. This time Advocare having to go all the way back in, and Jovan Jones has actually stepped forward, and the free kick's going to go in favour of the Sounders.
Yeah, Advocare just gets position. You just see a little bit of a pullback on the shoulder. Pretty easy call.
45, beaten by 2 very good strikes from Merem and Higuain. They're the 2 goals that separate the sides as we head towards half-time, and again, certainly not over by any means. Columbus Crew have conceded 24 goals this season. The offside flag again going up. Alvaro Fernandez actually coming back from an offside position to touch that one.
Yeah, there's really no reason, all the time in the world, to get back onside. Flacco just caught a little bit slow coming back, paid the price for it.
Trapp. You'd almost think he was the middle of a centre-back, a 3 centre-back system the way he plays. He drops so deep. Well, he has had international experience.
And again, just once that initial pressure was beaten, huge opportunity, and a poor ball from Hector Jimenez. Otherwise, Sounders would have been under pressure again.
About a minute and a half to halftime. What would the message be from Brian Smets at halftime to change things around in the second half?
I think you just got to get tighter to players and not allow so much space. I mean, there's times when I think you just times get back to a game when you're losing, you almost got to go man for man and make sure that everybody's tight and marked. There's just opportunities where Higuain, they've done a better job in the last 10-15 minutes of not allowing the space. But here again, Jimenez with this much time to be able to put a cross in the box, there's a point where you got to be touch tight to players. You got to get that spacing right. And at the moment, it's just not there. And look, we understand why. I mean, there's a ton of changes. You didn't see this the other day against Portland. In fact, we talked about in the pregame, Steve did, about the tackles and being close enough to make challenges and really not allowing Portland these kind of opportunities. But the changes had to be made, and Columbus has taken advantage of it.
Arthur plays inside for Trapp. And again, a needless giveaway from the Crew. And the Sounders take advantage of this one. Advocare leaving it for Alonso. Alonso driving forward himself, a lot like Roldan did about 10 minutes or so ago. Delem cross towards the far post. Advocare trying to challenge for it. Jimenez with the clearance. Jovan Jones. Fisher with the delivery, and again we said he's more comfortable on that right hand side, and you've seen it particularly when he gets in that final third.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. It's a tough ask, but it's that part. That's that learning curve. As a young player, you're asked to play out of position. You got to make the best of it, and so far Fisher's done a decent job at times, but that final pass has eluded him, as you just mentioned, and that was just a catching practice for Zach Steffen.
Steffen with a good delivery out to Jimenez. Goalkeepers with comfortability with the ball at their feet, important in this system, and Steffen has looked comfortable on the ball so far. Brian Smets and Gonzalo Pineda already starting with the notes before they head in for half-time. Wonder will we see some changes, some big names on the bench. Roman Torres, good news to see him back and almost ready to be a starter once again. Brad Evans back at the club that we started in MLS with. And there is the halftime whistle. Kasey, your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
Well, we knew it was going to be frustrating with the changes. The consistency of the lineup, a big reason why the Sounders were able to keep a couple clean sheets in a row at home. But with 5 changes, there's an expectation that it's going to take some time to get things right. And when you concede early, then you concede quickly again, there's an understanding, and Sounders just haven't quite found that defensive shape, and in some ways a little bit fortunate that maybe they didn't concede the third, but then at the same time, this is a Columbus Crew team that gives you opportunities.
We're now joined by Coach Brian Smets. Brian, what are your overall thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Well, we needed to keep the scoreline at 0, and we gave away a couple of goals uncharacteristically of our last couple of performances defensively, so that was a disappointing thing.
Is that due? I mean, we talked about fixture congestion and you having to make changes in international, and that keeping that consistency of a lineup was a big reason, I think, why you were able to keep a couple clean sheets, and then having to make these changes. Was there a worry that this was a possibility?
Yeah, there is a worry, Kasey, but there's no excuses there. I mean, guys that come into the field of play have to be able to be competent and do their jobs. And I think those are two uncharacteristically soft goals.
Thank you very much, Brian. Well, Brian will get to the team and have his halftime team talk. The first half in the books. Make sure you stick around for the Amica Insurance halftime show with Matt and Steve coming up next. It's 2-0 Crew at the half.
Yes, I'm on.
Hey, Matt. Yes.
Can you give me more volume? Yes, I'm on. Matt Johnson's on. Yes. A little more.
Yep, can you hear me?
Perfect. Okay. Higuain in the 10th. Yep, Merriman. Who was that assist from? I didn't get it from Camaro. Thank you.
Okay, and we're just kind of talking through. Okay.
Copy that. Capiche. Camero's his 8th goal, right, Steve? That was his 8th goal. Thank you. Thank you.
Ryan, how extensive of a thought do you want? Just a quick word. Okay. Yep.
Copy that. Welcome to the Sounders FC halftime show presented by Amica Insurance, Auto, Home, Life, creating peace of mind for more than 100 years. Amica.com. Sounders FC find themselves down 2-0 at halftime. I'm with Steve Zakawani. My name is Matt Johnson. And Steve, a couple giveaways and just went right to the Columbus Crew, and that's really all she wrote. Kind of uncharacteristic as Brian Schmetzer led on to.
Yeah, it's been a very, I would say, underwhelming performance so far from the Sounders, especially after the past 2 games where they picked up 6 points off the back of really good defending. I just feel like if you don't have the talent level you usually have with some of the guys missing, you compensate that by working extra hard, working your socks off, saying, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to work really hard. And it just felt cheap to give those 2 goals away to a team like Columbus here, who now have a lead, so good on the board. It's going to be a tough ask to get back into the game second half.
Let's take a look at the Oberto Beef Jerky halftime highlights. Oberto, get what you want, what you put in. Steve, like you're saying, just a giveaway, and this team's too dangerous, and they take advantage immediately.
Oh yeah, Higuain finds himself in all kinds of space in the second half, and the space in the first half, and the space he attacks here is the space Tony Alfaro vacated, trying to play a 1-2 after winning the ball. You probably in that instance get the ball up the field and regroup.
Advocare with a chance in the 13th, just the outside of his foot. Maybe he took too long.
No, use your left foot. Use your left foot. You're going to miss anyway. If you're going to miss with your right foot like that, use your left. The worst happens is you miss.
Just a Merrim in the 21st. Nobody shuts him down. Ball from Will Trapp, and off goes Merrim.
Well, you say, I keep an eye on the wingers in this league, and this guy is working his way towards the top of the list right now, and that's priceless to get that from an outside player who can dribble at the heart of the defense, and it's a very, very good finish. Stephen Fry, no chance.
To Columbus's credit, both finishes side netting, beating Stephen Fry, but a couple giveaways. Halftime stats, shots on goal, really Columbus lead every stat that's important.
They have, but you look at the other areas, the Sounders are competing in passes, in possession, pass accuracy, corners. I mean, it's just not dangerous enough. So in the final third, you do want to see that switch flip and become more goal dangerous.
2-0 at halftime. Sounders have some work to do in the second half. We'll be back with more on the Amica Halftime Insurance Show.
Yeah, so you had Flacco's graphic, yes, and then so after the Rodon run, him not firing, yes, and then different. So just don't show the shade. We don't need that. Just the Flacco one, and then I can say on the other side of it, everything we talked about pre-game hasn't happened today defensively. Yeah, how many clips you have? Like a couple of Higuain? Just one? Okay. Yeah, I'll just say on the weekend you didn't see Valeri or Nagby or Adi. There was someone that, yeah, perfect.
So I read that into him. Okay.
So I'll say a couple of things. One, you want to see Alpha Fernandez get more involved. Yeah. Okay.
All right. The scoreboard, is it sponsored? Thank you. All right. Halftime show open. MLS scoreboard. Time now to take a look at the UPS store second half solutions. And then I lay out and Steve takes it. Welcome to the Sounders FC halftime show presented by Amica Insurance, Auto, Home, Life, creating peace of mind for more than 100 years. Amica.com. Sounders down 2-0 here at Mapfre Stadium to the Columbus Crew. You can tell the wind is blowing in the background. Scoreboard around the league. NYCFC New England tied at halftime. Orlando City DC same score, or 0-0 I should say in the 18th. Coming up later, Houston and RSL. Time now to take a look at the UPS store second half solutions. Steve Zakawani.
I think the Sounders can expect more from Alvaro Fernandez, a player with a lot of quality. And if he finds himself in this position, especially with Clint Dempsey gone, Jordan Morris gone, you start to look to your other veteran guys. I want to see him take the defender on. Don't give the onus back to Christian Rodon. You control the ball, dribble the guy, try to go on. 22 touches in a half, 16 passes there. I think with the guys who are missing, he could maybe even have 40 touches at a point. Get on the ball a lot more. Don't defer to Shea Adekoya. As I said, has a lot of quality. You just want to see it more in the second half because he's one of the leading guys on the field for the Sounders tonight. And defensively, this would not have happened at the weekend. this would not have happened against RSL a couple weeks ago. That is too much space for a number 10 with the quality of Higuain. You have to get on him, whether that's Alonso, Roldan, or the centre backs. In the past couple games, there's been someone on him every time, and that's been missing today. So in the second half, get touch tight to Justin Meram, to Federico Higuain, to Finley. Get touch tight and don't let these guys do what they've been doing.
Well, we'll see if the Sounders can get tighter on defense. Down 2-0 to Columbus. We'll be back with more on Q13.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer. This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to Manfred Stadium. The halftime score, Columbus Crew 2, Seattle Sounders 0. As you would expect, the Sounders out ready to go already for the second half. And Kasey, you look to other games this season. The good news is we've seen the Sounders in this position. We've seen the Sounders come back from this position. The bad news is it wasn't with the starting 11 that we have right now.
How many times have we seen the Sounders down 2-0 on the road this year? But as you've mentioned, at multiple occasions they've come back into matches and looked like they had opportunities to not only get results, but then even take that further and get all 3 points. So I don't think there's a point to hit complete panic stations, but there is an idea that you gotta just stop keeping gifting teams 2-0 leads before you start to play. It'll be interesting to see the response, what the halftime talk was. Obviously, when you have your team out early, that's usually because it's a very short halftime talk, and it's go out there and prove to yourselves, to us, that you belong on this field with this club. Now, we talked about it too in the first half. Columbus loves to overpass out of the back, and there will be opportunities for the Sounders to get the ball deep in Columbus and create chances.
And there is the whistle to start the second half. Sounders kicking off from left to right. Alvaro Fernandez wanted it to come quickly. The Sounders out very early, which suggests the words were sharp and to the point at halftime from Martin Smetzer. What was the message?
I think the message is you got to win the physical duels to start with. At times, particularly in that first 20 minutes, you saw what it meant to Columbus. They were tackling everything. They were pressing high up the field, winning the ball, and creating chances from it. And it's about now going and just trying to not necessarily worry about dictating play, but just win the physical duels and see if you can get yourself back into this match. You can score the next goal. I mean, that's the first and foremost. If you can score the next goal, put this Columbus team, who has conceded a lot of goals recently, under pressure.
One thing that would have helped would have been playing the second half with an extra man. Columbus Crew only coming out with 10 because Arthur wasn't feeling well at halftime. He's now running back down the sideline. I'd imagine because they didn't make the substitution, he is going to come back onto the field of play. Waved on by the fourth official.
Yeah, you see those every once in a while. Maybe somebody needs a little bit more attention at halftime and a little late coming out.
Madero with the delivery towards the far post, and Svensson was in a position there alongside Christian Roldan. Easy in the end for Stefan. Set pieces another way, of course, the Sounders can force their way back into this match.
Yeah, very much so, and a good opportunity. In the end, the header, pretty comfortable save for Zach Stefan, but a good sign early on. Good service into the box, winning a header, creating an opportunity.
Well played forward, Jimenez doing his defensive work at right back. Jones rolled on. Looks like Fisher might have come across to this side as a right back. That's where he finds himself as he receives a lovely ball from Ozzy Alonso. Alonso plays Fisher. Fisher with the cross. All the way through to the far post. Jovan Jones very high up the field. Looks like Delem might have gone into a more central role as well. A lot of tactical shifts from the Sounders to start this second half.
Yeah, I think Jones has moved back to left back. Fisher's moved over here into kind of right midfield. Almost like a 4-3-3. McCoy's kind of moved over left, Flacco up high, and Roldan kind of moving into that left midfield role.
The Lemma player who has played central in his career before Martinique International, Sounders 2 last season. That's where he's lining up right now, and right now he'll have to get back in and defend. And the cross towards the far post, and the run from Finlay had gone towards the near. The ball will be out of play, and Sounders will have it with a goal kick.
Yeah, taller. He's too good of a player to, with that kind of service, with that much kind of space.
Shea Adekoya on the turn. Fisher trying to drive forward. Atala tries to play it in, and again that final ball lacking from Fisher. Miram, and again just overplaying things in his own half of the field, and Sounders unable to capitalize on that giveaway.
Yeah, completely bailed out. Miram and just passing the ball straight to Adekoya. I think Adekoya was maybe so surprised the ball came straight to him. He wasn't ready for it. And in the end, Columbus able to keep possession. But yeah, we talked about the opportunities. Sounders, if they're patient, they don't concede another goal. Put Crew under pressure when the opportunity arises. They should have a chance or two to get back in this match.
Jimenez plays it in for Higuain. Well, plenty of change in terms of tactics for the Sounders at halftime. For more on that, we bring back in Steve Zakawani. Steve, what are you seeing down there?
No, Keith, I'm standing right behind Stefan Fry's goal, and as best I can tell, it's O'Neill Fisher at right back. The centre-back pairing remains the same, Svensson and Alfaro. Jovan Jones has moved to left back now for the Sounders, and now it's three in the middle. Jordi Delem is playing centrally alongside Osvaldo Alonso. He's alongside Osvaldo Alonso and Christian Roldan. It looks like Ozzy's holding and you have Roldan and Delem just in front of him, and it's 3 up top. It's Shea Adekoya, Nico Ladero just behind him, and Alvaro Fernandez. And I think the reason for that is the 3 in the middle now of all 3 guys. You can go both ways. Delem definitely is a more defensive player, but he'll get close to Higuain. Alonso now can kind of sit in front of the back 4 and dictate possession, and Christian Roldan can join into the attack without worrying about who's covering him, because you have not only Alonso but also Jordan Delem behind him.
Thank you very much, Steve. A little bit of space here for Merrim to attack. Kamara making a very good run. A lot of space for Kamara. Off the outside of the woodwork. So close to a 3rd goal for Columbus Crew. The Sounders sliced apart defensively. That was a real let-off. Could be a big turning point in the match.
Well, in a lot of ways, Kamara should have finished this game off for Columbus. Again, huge sigh of relief. It's just a long ball flicked in behind. Merrim able to then get possession and find Kamara. But a huge let-off for the Sounders, as that could have been a mountain to climb at 3-0.
Higuain in possession again, and again there's runners further forward. Finley made a darting run on that left-hand side, and Ruben Jones would have been caught out if that ball had been played in that area. Jimenez, Higuain, Merrim, and again Finley trying to make the run. Ozzy Alonso just read his intentions, menacing in the attack so far to start his second half from Columbus Crew. Alonso across for Svensson. We'll take a look back at that chance in a couple of moments when we can. And instead it's Sounders looking to launch an attack of their own. Fisher goes back for Svensson. Alonso dropping back in. Rolled on. Big switch looking for Fisher. Fernandez just further forward. Adekoya on the other side. Fisher still goes. A little bit of contact there with Arthur. There'll be a free kick for the Sounders. We'll take a look back at that chance from Ola Kamara.
Yeah, it's just simply just a long ball. Kamara just beats Svensson, but then again, it's that shape. And it's just too open, and then Merrim has an easy ball, lays it off. Kamara smashes it past Fry. Very fortunate enough, off the post and out. And then Sounders now with an opportunity through Ladero, put this free service in the area and try to get back in this match.
We've seen him deliver from here before. It's a curl ball. Stefan, strong punch from the goalkeeper. To be fair, it wasn't the greatest of deliveries from Ladero. Lofted up and a nice height for the keeper, but he deals with it nonetheless.
Well, sometimes you just put balls in areas, make young keepers make decisions, and Ladero just puts it in a dangerous area. Maybe just gets it a little too high. Stefan comes up strong, takes out 2 white shirts in the meantime, but then as another ball comes in, they keep that second phase alive and hoping to create more chances from the initial.
Jones tries to cross it in. Federico Higuain back in doing his defensive work. Ladero. Jones, cool ball, flick on that near post by Alvaro Fernandez. It was a good delivery. There's nobody for Sounders attacking it. Delem tries to play it back, and 3 Sounders players in the general area the ball went. Nobody commanding it. Svensson now has it. Delem trying to play that crossfield ball. Luckily for him, it ends up back at his feet. Fisher. Ladero. Jones, very advanced, very high on that left-hand side. And a giveaway from Svensson. Arthur. Natala trying to play that ball forward, and good defending from Fisher, denying him that opportunity. Change of tactics to start the half from Brian Smetzer, Kasey, but any change in the momentum in the game that you've seen?
Well, I think there's just the momentum change that Columbus didn't take advantage of the opportunity to really put this game out of reach, and I think that's the side that I think you get hope from when you still feel you're in a match at 2-0. 1 goal gets you straight back into it. You've slipped up. You've allowed what was a great goal-scoring chance. It wasn't taken. As long as you keep staying in this match at 2-0, you know at any time that can change for you. It hasn't been as if Columbus has just created chance after chance. It's not like we're watching Fry making save after save, but they've had such easy chances that when they've taken them, and granted it was a couple of not easy chances, but it was very good finishes from the top of the 18. It wasn't as if they've just completely walked through at times and been able to have little side foot goals. So the Sounders clean up the few little problems, get a good goal of their own, and they're right back in this match.
Adekoya with a couple of good flicks there. Fernandez trying to drive through the middle. The initial flick from Adekoya back to the feet of Ladero, then he went into an offside position. Ladero had to hold on to it, but certainly better approach play from the Sounders on that occasion.
And then Flaco Fernandez coming off that side to come in and support and almost getting through. It took some desperate defending from Columbus to clear the danger.
Ratalan plays it in for Arthur. Higuain. Good play again from Krug. Finlay, good challenge from Jovan Jones. Jimenez with a lot of space on that right-hand side, and now the Sounders looking to exploit the space that he's left. Adekoya. Jones. Ladero. Coming out of it. Alonso. O'Neill Fisher. Rolled on. In for Ladero. More patient build-up here for the Sounders. Rolled on, not the greatest delivery, and Mensah deals with it comfortably, but it is at the expense of a throw-in for the Sounders.
You know, that's what you want. That's where you want your center back to put the ball. Again, Roldan just putting a ball into a space, into an area, trying to create something. Mensah just saying, we're winning 2-0, and I'm just going to smash this out of bounds. And
the man eventually makes its way through for Adekoya. The help of the referee. Long-range hit from Ladero. Best effort of the match for the Sounders. Very good save from Zach Steffen.
Yeah, very much so. And a little bit of fortune. The ball kind of bounces off the referee, falls to him. But if you're going to give him this kind of space, he just hits it far post. Zach Steffen getting over well to his left. Good step. Excellent save to keep the Sounders at bay.
Ladero himself will take the corner kick towards the far post and looking for Tony Alfaro, but just a little bit too much on it.
Yeah, uncharacteristic. He's frustrated. He knows he's better than that.
Seems to have a little bit more of a free role in this new system in the second half.
Oh, definitely, no question about it. But this is that kind of space that you just can't back up and let him shoot from that kind of distance. And a player of Nicholas Ladero's ability almost makes the Columbus Crew pay. Smart save from Zach Steffen. Otherwise, Sounders would be right back in this match.
Nico Ladero, 3 goals and 5 assists on the season. Fisher. Mensah again well positioned. Big powerful defender. 2 seasons ago was MLS Cup. Last season they struggled. Kamara in behind here again, and it wasn't the greatest at first touch. He was onside as well. Stefan Fry up to the task.
And again, it's another let-off. It's a huge opportunity as Higuain finds Kamara a much better touch, and he's got an excellent chance of making it 3.
Jimenez. But going back to Columbus Crew, 2 seasons ago MLS Cup finalists. Everyone expected him to be a challenger again last year, and it didn't materialize. Those defensive issues expected to be helped this season by Mensah. That hasn't been the case so far. You might have got a look at Brad Evans getting ready on the line. A little flick ball in behind. Kamara, he's had a couple of chances. This time he makes no mistake. Columbus Crew have the 3rd goal. 3-0.
Yeah, we talked about the let-offs and that had its own little bit of momentum, just saying, okay, we're still in this, but at some stage you have to stop those chances from occurring. You just can't get the quality of Kamara, Higuain. I mean, Kamara just had a really poor touch, and this time Miram, it's just a simple ball through where they're slow to react, and that is a fantastic finish off the inside of the post from Kamara from a difficult angle. But there's just too many times, too many opportunities, and eventually you're going to pay the price for it. And now it's a Herculean task, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brad Evans looked like he was coming on at 2-0, and I'm not so sure he's still coming on at 3-0.
A player just coming back from injury himself. Ryan Smertzer visibly frustrated right now. But again, to your point, a big game coming up this weekend against a Western Conference rival.
Still numbers missing because of international call-ups. You know, we talked about the fixture congestion. Brad Evans just coming back, starting his first couple games since August of last year, having to play 3 games in 7-8 days, just maybe too much of an ask. You also had the issue of Chad Marshall coming back from the back spasms, and maybe again the travel, the fixture congestion, just too much. Roman Torres not quite ready to come back and start, so you have to make a lot of changes. You have to put players in positions, move things around, and it just hasn't worked.
Crew coming forward again. Finley making that inside channel run. A lot of contact with Svensson. It's going to be a free kick for the Sounders. We also saw Nuhutolo getting ready to come on. Perhaps 19-year-old Cameroon-born defender. Interesting to see Nuhu get some minutes as well. And again, not the result you want, but a chance for someone like Nuhu, players like Advocare, to get precious minutes as they look to progress themselves in MLS.
Well, yes, but it's kind of double-edged. You want to get players time and minutes, but then they have to take advantage of the time and minutes that they get, and it doesn't do any good when you get that opportunity and you're down 3-0 with 60 minutes.
Looking for Svensson, and he couldn't get to it. Jovan Jones gets there ahead of Federico Higuain. On the other side of things, it was always going to be a game where we expected to see a response from Columbus Crew after losing the biggest ever margin of defeat against Toronto FC on Friday night, 5-0. And they've had the response. Delem. Ozzy Alonso, good control from him. Fisher in Filadero. Ball inside for Advocare. Ladero looking for that big switch, and Jovan Jones initially started to make the run but saw the ball was going to go out of play. That'll be a goal kick for Columbus Crew. Well, the best soccer fans deserve the best health plan. Primera Blue Cross, your hometown health plan for 84 years. Nuhu and Evans both up, so we wondered whether Brad Evans would still come on. The answer is yes. A long conversation with him today, back where it all started at Columbus Crew. Crew coming forward. Across from Ethan Finley, looking for Kamara. Svensson well positioned. Alonso. All the changes are going to be Nuhu is coming in for Shea Advocare. O'Neill Fisher is going to be replaced by Brad Evans. Your assessment on the performance of Advocare in his very first MLS start?
Looked a little nervous. Obviously, first getting the yellow card early, and at times, I mean, you mentioned it, showed for balls when maybe he could have run long and ran long when maybe he could have showed. So yeah, it was a little mixed performance, but the question then is how you learn from this. You watch it on tape, see how well you can make adjustments when the next opportunity arises.
O'Neill Fisher started the game at left back. Sometimes when you're asked to do that and play a role for a team out of position, it can be difficult. Big season for him. Tyrone Mears, of course, moved on in the off-season. That right back position expected to be up for grabs. Brad Evans now back fully fit. Cross comes in again. Svensson back to the edge of the box for Atala. Kamara. Merrim with a little bit of space. Back for Kamara. Back for Merrim. Columbus Crew enjoying some good possession here. Higuain. Ball out wide, looking for Jimenez, and again, both fullbacks so far advanced for the Crew.
Well, but that's when you want your fullbacks in advance, when you have good possession higher up the field. It's when you're in that transition of getting your fullbacks when you lose possession that it's trouble. When you have good solid possession, then it's really easy to get your backs forward. And Crew, again, creating opportunities.
Federico Higuain, one of the best from set-piece situations. Cool delivery. All defended by the Sounders. Ladero, the man left forward. Couldn't keep it in play. Crew will have a throw in. A little under 25 minutes left in this one. We have seen remarkable comebacks from the Sounders this season. One from 3-0 down, in fact, but this one a very tall order. Onuhu, one of the men who came on for some precious minutes here in MLS. For more on him is Steve Zakuani. Steve?
Yes, Keith, we haven't seen much of him with the first team, but this club is very, very high on Nuhu. In fact, when I spent pre-season with the team, he was one of the stand-up performers. Great engine, can get up and down, and the only reason we haven't seen much of him is because Jovan Jones exists, and he's not getting ahead of Jovan right now. But what a great opportunity for him to come into this game where the result pretty much is what it is, but to get some good MLS experience and get his legs out there. So for the Sounders now, with the changes happen, it looks like Alvaro Fernandez will be the highest player forward. Nico Ladero will be right under him. Brad Evans will slot into his right back spot, and Christian Roldan is sort of drifting over to this right-hand side of that midfield three with Osvaldo Alonso and Jordi Delem.
Thank you very much, Steve. And Sounders looking to break here with Ozzy Alonso. Mensah with a cynical challenge.
Well, that's why you keep a yellow card. You don't make a silly challenge, and that was just Arthur has to do better. He can't lose possession in that situation. Ozzy picking his pocket, getting out on the run. Mensah takes a yellow card to stop the counter.
The Crew readying themselves for a substitution himself and Harrison Awful. Here's the challenge again.
Yeah, not much of an easy call. Mensah knew exactly what he was doing.
Last one from Ladero, a little bit overhit. This one a little bit closer. We've seen him almost curl that one in towards that far post and gone in on occasions.
Yeah, he'll sneak it in there, no question about it. You're just trying to get those early runs. Crew with a nice high line makes it that much more difficult to kind of get those bodies in front of the goalkeeper so he can't slide over as he's waiting in case somebody wins the header.
Svensson lining up like he might be interested in having a go at this one. The referee just forcing that wall back. And they're replacing the ball, and you'd imagine he'd be the favourite for it, but Svensson telling him exactly where he wants it placed. Gustav Svensson goes over it. Ladero, cold effort. He went for this near post. Wasn't far away.
No, it's an excellent effort from the Uruguayan. Just tries to get the goalkeeper just anticipating the cross. Sees it a little late, I tell you. If he could get that ball down a little quicker, I'm not sure Zach Steffen's able to get over there in time.
And we see the substitution. Harrison Awful is going to come on. Jimenez is going to come off, and he certainly had a good game on that right-hand side for the Crew.
Yeah, in a lot of ways he was really uncontested many times coming in and being higher up the field. Awful will come in and be asked to do just a little bit more defensive duty than maybe Jimenez was, but in the end, Jimenez had a comfortable outing, combined well with Finley at times and created a lot of trouble down the Crew's right-hand side.
Svensson being very physical with Kamara there, winning that battle. Ball played forward, Mensah just towering header out of play. But going back to Steve's point, for young players like Nuhu, they're not coming in to play what the scoreboard says. They're looking to compete, to showcase in those 25 or so minutes that they have what it takes to get more minutes moving forward.
No question about it. You take every advantage you get when you're a young player. At times you wouldn't expect maybe that they would have that opportunity, but when it does come, either through injury, fixture congestion, international call-ups, whatever it is, you have to take advantage of it because you never know when the next chance is. You come out, do a great job. It gives Brian Spencer more faith that he can put you in opportunities. If you don't take advantage of it, then who knows when that next chance is going to come.
Getting his touch back for Alfaro. Svensson. played in a couple of different roles this season, Svensson, but looked very comfortable, particularly at the weekend at centre-back. Very strong back four performance. But we did say in the pre-game, difficult to keep that kind of momentum when you have those switches and changes defensively, and it's proven to be the case.
Oh yeah, you go from having what you just said is an extremely solid back four and a very good defensive performance against Portland, to then making 3 changes across the back, and you can understand why you end up conceding a couple early goals.
Sounders fans in attendance certainly making themselves be heard, trying to get behind the team. Roldan driving through, and he's going to win another free kick. Doesn't matter what city we go to, always Sounders fans at the away games. I don't think anyone will argue the best supported team on the road in MLS.
We might be a little biased though.
Slightly. Ball goes out of play. Nuhu will have a throw in. And the slip from Jordi Delem managed to get back on his feet and still play it to Nuhu. Alfaro. Lodeiro. Not enough space there to play that ball through. Arthur has it back for Columbus Crew. Trap goes down under a little bit of pressure from Jovan Jones. Ozzy Alonso, Fernandez on that left-hand side. Alvaro Fernandez with the chance to go for goal. Stefan with a one-handed save. Not really enough power on it from Fernandez, but the keeper still does very well.
It's an excellent save. It's a really good save. In fact, Alvaro Fernandez, but it is Trapp getting caught in possession and players out of position. Fernandez thought he had the goalkeeper beat, trying to just slot it in that left-hand corner, but Zach Steffen gets down quickly and makes a big, huge save.
Ball played forward, looking for Lodeiro. Williams under pressure, and we've seen him cough up the ball on a couple of occasions. We're going to see Roman Torres come in a couple of moments. And also Kakuta Mane, former Vancouver Whitecap. Merrim plays the ball out wide. Finley in position. That redirects, and luckily for the Sounders, it goes over the crossbar. Could have gone anywhere. And it was Finley once again providing the danger on the right.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Roldan thinking that he should have been awarded a free kick. Merrim then tries to find Finley, pass just a little bit behind him as he tries to get it under control. He's unable to do so, but then with a couple deflections, it ends up over the crossbar and for the Columbus Crew, and then Merrim getting his little bit of a break. Got an excellent goal to double the lead.
Yeah, we saw him take it off before, and it wasn't the same kind of situation, but a lot happier now.
Yeah, you would expect it getting subbed in the, I think it was the 38th minute against Toronto. Not too often players get subbed in the first half.
On the high five with his manager Greg Berhalter. Kakuta Mane, big trade to bring him across for Vancouver. Certainly an attacking threat as well. We're going to see Jovan Jones replaced by Roman Torres. It'll be interesting to see how the side is rejigged with Torres coming on.
I would assume you drop into a back three, but at 3-0, and I think at 2-0, you're still thinking we can get that first goal and see what happens.
Big to see him getting back on the field.
Well, I think that's the key. Just get him some key minutes just to get his fitness back into some sort of form, and understanding that it's a lot of games left.
Corner kick from Higuain and the flick from Alvaro Fernandez. Well, 3-0 down to New England Revolution a couple of weeks ago. It was right around now where we got that first goal in what was a dramatic comeback. Never say never.
True.
Finley. New strong challenge from him, and something Brian Smetzer did tell us about him. Can be very physical and was taking no prisoners there.
Nothing wrong with a good hard tackle.
Arthur putting the pressure again. Crew playing themselves into danger. Ladero, Alonso. Fernandez gone out to that left-hand side. Delem rolled on. Brad Evans. Quite sure if Brad Evans has had a touch since he's come on. Nuhu making the overlap. Trying to curl that ball in around Awful, but the Ghanaian right back gets in position.
Yeah, but the last 10 minutes or so, Columbus haven't pushed those outside backs as forward as they did earlier in the match. And I think there is a little bit of an idea that, look, try to keep a clean sheet after conceding so many goals. Keep the shape right. Yes, in possession, get forward a little bit, but don't just instantly spread your center backs, outside backs going forward.
Awful trying to cross in and all the way through for Stefan Fry. Good handling from the Sounders keeper. Quickly out for Roldan. Delem. A reminder, Columbus Crew not as decimated by injuries and international call-ups as Sounders. This essentially the best starting 11. They have the likes of Kakuta Mane as well on the bench to call upon. Always going to be a difficult test tonight. Williams in for Higuain. Again, a lot of space for Higuain to turn. Awful. Trap. Rattle on this left-hand side back for Will Trapp. Columbus Crew content to just knock the ball around, almost enticing the Sounders to come forward and open up some space in behind. Higuain holds up again. Awful again making a good run, and Finlay in that inside channel, and the ball goes out of play for a Sounders goal kick. Or visit soundersfc.com/scarfo to vote for your favorite scarf design in the CenturyLink Scarf Sound Off. CenturyLink connecting you to the power of the digital world. That wasn't the easiest read to do either, Kasey.
Nope.
Ball goes over the head of Williams. Mensah will go back to Zach Steffen. Trap. And the atmosphere gone a little bit flat inside the stadium as well. The fans feel like this one is over, and the Crew trying to make sure it is here as they come forward with Awful. And good challenge from Alfaro. Nuhu. Back for Alfaro, and he plays it off the Columbus Crew winger Ethan Finlay. It'll be a throw in for the Sounders deep in their own half of the field.
Yeah, Nuhu just putting Alfaro under a little bit pressure when he didn't need to be, but Alfaro does a good job of making sure that there's no risk taken.
Sounders have possession again with Ladero. Alonso. Switch down here for Svensson. Ladero, Brad Evans. Ladero looking for the switch, running the run of Ozzy Alonso. Powerful play from Alonso. Back for Ladero. Out wide for Nuhu. We've had a lot of young players getting minutes today, a lot of substitutes coming on, returning from injury. Steve, what are your overall thoughts on what you've seen today in terms of players maybe showcasing their abilities moving forward for the team?
You know, key for me, the likes of Tony Alfaro, Shea, who we've talked about tonight, Jordi Delem still in that bracket, O'Neal Fisher. Some of those guys, you look at this just as learning experience. You know, it's not always going to be great. They had a chance tonight really to stake a claim for future playing time, and as I said in the first half, it was an underwhelming performance, and not because of talent, just the work rate wasn't quite there. Columbus Crew got too much time, and once you're 2-0 down and then eventually 3-0 down against players of this quality, it's going to be very hard to show what you can do on the board. So this learning experience wasn't great, but the positives from it is you got through the game with no injuries, and your next game is at home against a Western Conference team, and the last time that happened, they responded well against RSL.
Thank you very much, Dave. Again, we hope you'll join us for this Sunday CenturyLink. Columbus Crew coming off the back of a disappointing loss on the road. They've had the response tonight. I'm sure Brian Smetzer will be hoping for a similar response against Houston Dynamo, who the Sounders lost to very early on in the season.
I think we'd expect Brad Evans to be in from the beginning, Chad Marshall to be in from the beginning, maybe a Roman Torres in from the beginning. So there will definitely be some reinforcements back in, some more experience. But it's a frustrating when you think you're coming in, you know you're making changes. You heard Brian at halftime when I kind of talked to him about that consistency and things, and he says, look, I have faith in these guys. We think we put them in a position where they should be able to do better than what they did, and that's, you know, that's frustration from a manager that looks at a player and says, I think this guy can do a job, and then it doesn't happen, and then it kind of makes you think you got to go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Ladero, cool delivery. Stefan underneath it. The goalkeeper once again does very well. He's had a good game, Zach Stefan.
He has. He's had a very good game. He's made, you know, 2 good saves to keep the Sounders at 0, and clean pair of hands coming out for crosses. Distribution with his feet's been good. You know, he's one of those young goalkeepers. Had an excellent under-20. He's got a lot of interest. Ended up in Europe and Germany with Freiburg. Things didn't work out the way he would have liked to him, so now he's come home to MLS and trying to really resurrect his career and make a name for himself and get into that U.S. national team discussion.
U.S. national team games coming up. 3 over the course of the next 2 weeks or so. 2 big World Cup qualifiers. He'll be in attendance at least one of them.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be going to Denver to check that game out.
We'll talk a little bit more about U.S. men's national team in a post-game show. Clint Dempsey, Seattle Sounders, very close to becoming the all-time U.S. men's national team top scorer. I'm going to see another change here. Federico Higuain is going to come off. Alex Granal coming on. Higuain certainly played his part in the first half, Kasey.
Yeah, no question about it. He really drove the energy from the first minute. Chasing the ball, making tackles. When your kind of star midfielder kind of pushes the tempo and get things moving, we saw that so much last year with Nicolas Ladero just driving everybody else on. Higuain was obviously upset with the performance the other day and took it upon his shoulders to make sure that the attitude was right from the beginning, and the crew benefited from it greatly.
Ball played in for Arthur, who seems to have recovered after being unavailable to come out right at the start of the second half. Ratala in for Arthur. Big switch looking for Harrison Offal. Another fullback who'll stay in that advanced role. Finley. Looked like he was shaping up to cross up, only at 2 inside the area. Arthur. Ball again played out wide. Finley lets it run for Offal, trying to play that return in, but Nuhu again gets himself in a good position. Back for Nuhu, back for Alfaro, and this time Alfaro taking no chances, long clearance, and will go out of play.
Yeah, but it's Nuhu then playing a really tight ball into Ozzy Alonso under pressure, and then having to put Alfaro under pressure. So the good defensive job, getting things cleaned up, and then it's just trying to figure things out after that. But I like the good defensive effort to start with coming on the pitch.
Tyler, the fullback. Good run further forward from Kakuta Mane. He hasn't seen too much action so far, and the move hasn't worked out, I'm sure, as he would have liked coming across from Vancouver.
Yeah, he was a player that was kind of in some national team discussions as well, as he's working towards his American passport, and he'll look to definitely have better times ahead.
Brought across in the move is MLS contract winding down. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for Kakuta Mane after this season. Again, Stefan telling his 2 centre-backs to split. Late on in the game, Columbus Crew still playing out of the back.
No, this time there's just not enough pressure, and it's pretty easy for Columbus, as a very tired Sounders at 3-0 down, are just unable to put enough pressure higher up the field to really force any kind of mistakes from Columbus.
The fullback. When you have a game like this, Kasey, where a lot of your first team stars are unavailable, is there a real point for Brian Spencer in dwelling on this and talking over and over again about it, or is it simply a case of move forward onto you?
I think it's almost individual stuff at that stage. You're kind of probably breaking up video for the younger players to show them where things went wrong and hopefully trying to learn from it. But I don't think you take a whole lot of team, because it's not the team you're going to see. I think the team we saw in the last 2 matches is closer to what you're going to see week in and week out from Brian Spencer as the lineup is concerned. And so it's hard to talk about shape in this. Yes, you want individual players to learn and get better, but you're not necessarily worried from a team performance, because it's really not the team you're going to see more often than not.
Kakuta Mane with a little bit of space on this left-hand side. Goes at Svensson. Goes by Svensson. He's gone by Torres as well. Just about kept that in play. The cross was redirected out of play, but you saw in an instant the kind of threat that Kakuta Mane really can be.
And Mane is just saying exactly what I was about to say is, yes, he makes a good run, gets in there, and then he gets around Torres, but there has to be a sprint to that near post. No Columbus Crew making the effort to get in the box, to run to that near post, to pull defenders out of the way. And that's just frustration from Ozzie Alonso.
Ref looked like he was going to go to the pocket and change his mind.
I like that. You know, late in the game, no real militia, understands 3-0 down, but that's when you just have that warning and say, Ozzie, look, you got away with one. Don't pick up a silly yellow card that then gets you suspended for a game where you're really going to be needed.
Well, make sure you stick around after the whistle for the post-match show presented by a local Toyota dealer. Steve will join us up here in the booth to break things down, and Matt will get all of the reaction from pitchside. That is coming up right after the match. Plenty to talk about. I'm sure we'll talk about this one, but we'll also look ahead to the weekend and what will be a much stronger Sounders starting 11, we would imagine, against Houston. We'll trap over this set piece. Very short. And he has it back. Mensah. And again, Mensah giving possession away, the centre-back right on the touchline, and again a lot of space.
To be honest with you, I don't make any decisions.
Alonso. Svensson. Brad Evans. Svensson goes back for Torres. Stefan Fry launching this one forward. Mensah underneath it. And was the contact there with Nico Lodeiro? Lodeiro's gone crashing to the ground, getting up rather gingerly as well. Strong play from Ozzie Alonso, getting there ahead of Kakuta Mane. A player who would have seen a lot of from the Cascadia rivalry with Vancouver Whitecaps. A little bit of a push off the ball there as well. Rattala pushing down on Christian Roldan, who's not happy. And there's possession here, chance to drive forward for Roldan. As well to stay on his feet, and again, that's a late challenge. A couple of them here from both sides. Lodeiro, another chance from a similar angle from what we've seen so far from set pieces. Referee blows his whistle, and Lodeiro, more of a driven ball towards the far post, looking for Roman Torres. Wasn't too far away from its intended target.
No, it's a good idea. Just try to isolate the big man at the far post, head it back into a dangerous area, but well blocked off by Crew defensively.
You look towards the summer, Kasey. A lot of international games coming up. You have Gold Cup. How difficult is it going to be to manage this? Do you expect to see the Sounders perhaps go into the transfer market and add to the squad?
Well, I think they have space. They have space under the cap. They have finances to be able to do so. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if you don't see 2 or 3 new faces in the summer transfer window.
Had one last year that came in and made
he did okay.
A bit of an impression.
It worked out. And again, I think that's why it's even more important when young players who are in your squad, coming from your reserve team, when they get that opportunity, particularly before the transfer window opens, if they can maybe show management that you don't need somebody in this position because I'm here to cover that. Give me another year or two to continue, and maybe I can be a starter for you.
And hopefully you feel that sense of urgency from those players. Knew with the switch earlier on, it was another good piece of play from him and Svensson. That goes out off his chest. It'll be a throw-in for Columbus Crew. It's been one of those nights for Ryan Smetzer and his coaching staff. A rejigged lineup. Not too long to work with it. The short turnaround from a big game at the weekend, beating Portland Timbers. The 2 quick-fire goals in the first half and the killer goal in the second means they're about to fall to yet another road defeat. Svensson for Torres. And there is the final whistle. Columbus Crew 3, Seattle Sounders 0 is your final score. Kasey, your overall thoughts on the match?
Yeah, frustrating, difficult. We knew it was going to be a big task with the personnel changes that Smetzer had to make. A Columbus Crew coming off of a difficult result, you expected a response from them. They got exactly that, conceding the early goals, and it was always an uphill battle from that point on. But in the end, it's another road loss. Opportunity now to come home on Sunday, get a few more reinforcements on the pitch, still missing some key players through international call-ups, and see what the response will be on Sunday.
Well, tonight's play of the match is presented by Alcatel, the official smartphone partner of Sounders FC. Unfortunately, it's not a play we're going to want to see too many times. Possession given away by the Sounders.
Well, look at it.
Columbus Crew take advantage.
And it's Jimenez with the challenge, falling directly to Higuain with all kinds of space. But when you have a poor result, you have to match the effort and intensity. And in the first 20 minutes, the Columbus Crew trying to bounce back from that. Jimenez shows the endeavor, and then Higuain with the finish.
All right, now make sure you stick around for the post-match show presented by a local Toyota dealers. Coming up next on Q13. Sounders Soccer is brought to you by Redapt, your Northwest IT solutions and global systems integrator. More info at redapt.com. CenturyLink. The CenturyLink Scarf Sound Off is back. Visit soundersfc.com/scarfo to vote for your favorite design. By McDonald's of Western Washington. Now on match days, get a free breakfast sandwich with any purchase when you download the app. McDonald's, the official breakfast of Sounders FC. And by Jeep. Reach the peak of efficiency with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee and its EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today.
We're gonna see. Yeah. I think it might be. This is too much.
Yeah. I don't know if we can do it standing or if we have to sit. I'm not sure.
Let's go ahead and turn that up. How's that for? Yes. Whoa. It's loud. Testing 1. Woo! It's loud. Right, do you want to go one at a time?
You want to clip that?
Room. I can't even. I have to have my hands in my pocket pretty much.
Looks like we're ready to kick off here.
Yeah.
Woo! Looks like a really, really bad boy band. I wouldn't buy our album, would you?
No.
Not if I heard it.
There's no need. There's no need. Yep. I think
My thoughts are, can we go to like a Three Is Company
Ladero
rerun
in the first
or
half couldn't
something?
find the
instead?
game. Second half, like, what is his role moving
Come
forward?
and
Like,
knock on my door.
I think that's a good talking point. There's not much else we can.
Yeah, we won't do that.